All right, so it's Greg Moody and Tracy Thomas here. We're going to rant on social media and marketing today. We were just talking about this before we started the podcast, Tracy.
Yeah, and I'd like to welcome everybody. And yeah, we're kind of excited about this, talking about this because, it isn't the doom and gloom that everybody thinks it is, or maybe it could be for some of you that are only strictly utilizing some of these like Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp app. It just depends what you're doing out there, right? And Greg, we see it all the time. People kind of focus on something that's successful, and sometimes they forget to kind of get out in different areas when it comes to marketing. So this topic really we're talking about is for business owners. Who do you want to get in front of? And maybe Greg, let's talk a little bit about how they get in front of people.
Well, I think we get a lot of confusion in the business. We between the two of us, we probably talked to 100 people in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk to people, so many people per week, and there's so much confusion for the average business owner on whether or not they should be doing Facebook. And we did a podcast on this a while ago, social media marketing, AdWords marketing, Google marketing, they call it. They don't know what name to call it, whether they should be doing SEO. And we try to help everybody understand the whole picture so they can make really informed decisions, because as a business owner, you don't really have a good way to make informed decisions, because it's really a full-time job in all of these different areas to be good at it. And we have full-time experts working with us that do a brilliant job of each of these categories. But I think for a business owner, it's really hard for them to, buy the right kind of marketing and subcontract and outsource the right kind of marketing, which is what they should be doing, so that they can and do it intelligently. And in social media, right now in the news, and right now we're in October of 2021, there's all kinds of stuff going on in social media, in the news about social media and how it's not potentially private, it's not safe, and there's all kinds of articles going on. But we could be talking about this in 2022 in October, or 2025 in October.
Right.
There's always going to be, I guarantee there's always going to be some changing and shifting in the way online marketing or marketing landscape is going to be, and it happens faster and faster all the time. I think it's really frustrating for business owners to try to deal with that on a regular basis.
No, and I totally agree. And I think people, what you just said is kind of like when you mentioned the landscape, people have to understand that you have a small piece of real estate and online, as far as what you're using for marketing. And that little small piece of real estate is, there's all these branches of real estate out there that you could be utilizing. And Facebook's just one of them. You're hearing the topics in the news every day about whistleblower. Is that putting fear into the consumers? Absolutely. Is there some is it legitimately correct on some of it? Probably, right? We don't really know. All we can tell you right now is whether you or not, we know is security is going to get tougher and tougher as it goes along. That means that Greg and I, as marketers, we want to have information that we can use to send people, emails, just like you as business owners, and send people text messages. But we know that in some of these situations, applications, some of you, the cell phones and all the mobile devices, everybody's getting tougher and secure and giving you guys more options to do everything out there. So, but the problem is how do we deliver that message? How do you deliver your message right now? So some of you as business owners right now, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you're really unsure what to do, because you went all in on Facebook. Okay. And we know that you're losing, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands. In some cases, we know people that are losing millions of dollars with the ads. And how do we handle that? So Greg, maybe we can talk a little bit about right now. We know that we have to talk a little bit about this isn't the end of marketing. This is the beginning of a new era. Let's talk a little bit about that phone book. What do we do back in the phone book days?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking as you're saying that. In the old days, we've been in business for 30 years. It dates us, right? I mean, I don't think we look that old, but we've been in business as entrepreneurs for over like 30 years, between us 60 years. And in the old days, we had, you could do TV advertising, which didn't really fit for most businesses, radio. You could do like newspaper advertising or print advertising, yellow pages, Or you can do kind of some kind of guerrilla marketing where you direct mail people, or you go out and beat the streets or knock on doors, literally knock on doors. And hey, guess what? That stuff really worked well because there were only maybe 5 or 6 options that a business would have. A couple of those probably wouldn't work for that particular business. And then you only had a few options. And if you did it really good, you'd get business. Now it's grown and grown and grown and grown. So it becomes very complicated. And what you said is interesting. A lot of people think that it's like, oh, the death of marketing or the death of a certain kind of marketing. All it's going to do is reveal other opportunities. What we got to do, and what we have to advise our all of our clients to do, is what the next thing is that's going to get you a good ROI. I think that's what's very unique about us. In particular, when we get to talk to people, we're so concerned about return on investment. When you're spending $1, we want you to make $10 or $100 back. And what we see a lot of times in Facebook, some people can do that, or in AdWords, some people can do that with that. And we advise them to keep on doing that. If they're not getting a good ROI, then we need to use some other media. So in the future, Facebook may be a horrible medium, could be a great medium, but we won't know. You might be watching this podcast in a year and it could be one way or the other. We don't know. Exactly. Or it could be some new media that we haven't even thought of, maybe holograms or something, or I don't know what. And there's all kinds of new things that'll be available, and we need to be on the cutting edge of that. Now, as a business owner, that can be stressful because now you're getting sold product from people that are more technically savvy than you. If you're a plumber, or if you're a medical doctor, a very smart person, had to go to school for a million years to be an MD, but it wasn't in social media marketing or search engine optimization or any of those kind of things. So it's very difficult for you to then be an expert at these other areas, which frankly are probably just as pretty close to as complicated as getting that kind of degree. So that's why I think it's really important that we're concerned about, number one, what's the best thing for you? And just because Facebook is having problems, I was going to mention, Tracy, speaking of Facebook having problems, we were talking about the articles. I got to find them here, but I'll try to find them. Here's the Facebook articles. We'd share them. This is just from today. So this is something that you can feel like, here's all these Facebook articles. This is from today. It's October 6th, 2021. If you're seeing it next year, we're going to see another batch of them. It could be something else in another year, because at the same time, the same day, Apple is suggesting that may not make a lot of detailed sense right now, but Apple's suggesting that apps need to have more privacy restrictions. Here's another article about apps having more privacy restrictions. So that's not good for marketers. And as time goes on, these things are going to be shifting and changing really, really fast.
Yeah, you made a good point there, and people understand Apple's jumping on it. They're all going to be jumping on this over the next couple of weeks because they know what's coming. You think they don't really want the government involved, but some people want the government involved. Well, either way, security is what it is. It's going to become tighter. Okay, you're going to have more options to be able to opt out of things and not opt out of things. And Greg talked earlier about the yellow pages and whatnot, and then we talk about emails. We've heard people say that emails are dead. We have many clients that are using emails, and it's working very successful. Does it work for every client? No. We have many clients that direct mailers work great for. It doesn't work for everybody. So what it takes is at the end of the video, you're going to see, at the end of this podcast, you're going to see, for all you guys that are on here right now, you're going to be able to see a thing for Greg and I, where you guys can meet with us and we'll talk to you a little bit about, what we can do. It's a free 20-minute consultation, kind of work with you a little bit, tell you what area you want to go into, in marketing, what's best for your industry and what specifically is best for you and your company. And social media might be perfect for you. Don't think that's not going to work, because there's difference between paid per click and organic. And then some of you have a lot of followers. Okay, you make no money, and some of you have very few followers, but you make a lot of money on social media. And we play with all that. We can tell you exactly what's the best route for you to take right now. And there's always going to be a door closing and a door opening. This is no different than the yellow pages. When TV advertisements were out, Greg, you remember when TV advertisements, everybody was up on TV ad, not everybody, but certain industries were doing very well on TV ads. And then DVRs came out, and it was pre-recorded shows, and everybody could skip commercials, and people were skipping the commercials, and it kind of faded out for a lot of people, but other businesses were still making money.
Well, that's the key, is you got to figure out how to use that turn into getting a good ROI. Because when cable TV came out, that was another good example of this, where instead of having 3 channels when I was a kid, there were 150 channels. And where would you put your advertising dollars? But what happened was it was cheaper to advertise, and you could niche your marketing a little bit better. So there was some value to that. And what we got to do is find the value. And as privacy increases, which is probably going to continue doing, because look, I'm primarily, yours and my focus is we love the world when we can market better, but as an individual person, I don't want anybody to know any information about me. I don't let anything, if I get asked about on my iPhone to track things, I say, no, you can't track me. But as an individual, for the rest of my life and the world that we live in, I want to track everybody. I want to know all the information. But I think more people are going to be more reticent to give their personal information out, because they don't want to get bad emails. They don't want to get push notification. They don't want to get bothered interfered with during the day. However, that just means, again, just like with the DVR example that you talked about, it allows opportunities. So if you're smart about the marketing, then we can find the right opportunity for you. And what we need to do for everybody, and what everybody needs to focus on, whether we help you or not, what you need to focus on is where's the niche and the angle where you can get in. Because if you're smart, you're going to do it. And believe me, most people aren't. Most people are not doing stuff when they should early enough, so that your competitors and the other people that are in your niche, they're just not going to do it as quickly as you could if you are paying attention to this. So just right. Like I think the TV example is great. People that can get value from TV advertising were getting lots and lots of value, because the other people were dropping off to the side. Direct mail is another great example. Direct mail works great for a lot of people, because a lot of people have dropped off using it. So the volume's gone down and the cost has gone down to be able to produce it. So you can get more value if you use it correctly. You can't just use it willy-nilly. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in the depth of things not working as well. The rule in marketing is going to get more complicated, though, and you got to figure out how to make it work right. And we really enjoy helping people figure that out, so that they can get a good ROI.
Yeah, and I think that's the greatest thing, us being able to come up with a solution to help a business owner find where their niche is in marketing and how to utilize it to their benefit to get the strongest ROI they can. And right now, what Greg was just talking about, everybody that's on here, is, it's so valuable, because we have to decide at some point. Right now is one of the deciding factors. It's a jump factor right now. I mean, come on, this is a big thing. This is extremely large. If you're a business owner out there and you aren't marketing on Facebook, understand something. You got to get prepared. You have to prepare right now, even if you're not marketing on Facebook, because this is going to affect emails. This is going to affect text messaging. And right now we could sit here and talk, an hour on text messaging and how that's even getting more secure now. So how they have to opt in and everything. So there's so many privacy and security issues going on right now, and it's always going to be going on. But right now there is a big change, some of the biggest changes we've ever seen in the market. So if you're on this call right now, go ahead and schedule an appointment. And if you're listening in, schedule some time to meet with us, and or at least get one of your free downloads and whatnot, and kind of go through it and see what you can do to help your business out. And we're here to help you anytime you guys need any help.
Yeah, and there's going to be some ways that you can get around those restrictions, things that are going to feel like restrictions, so that you can be successful. So we'll look forward to the next time we get together and do a podcast. It was great today.
Hey, great. You guys all take care.
We'll see you later.